want to bring in two opposite sides of the government shutdown fight, and I suspect many other. Tennessee Republican. He's also a member of the Tea Party caucus and a practicing physician for 30 years plus. And Jim McDermott is a Democrat from Washington State, a senior member of the Ways and Means Committee, and also a former psychiatrist. Congressman Rowe, let me begin with you. As I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, you were part of that meeting this morning with the House Speaker, other Republican leadership. When we were gearing up for this news conference, we all crossed our fingers and thought we might be actually hearing something that's going to move this battle forward. And yet, sir, it was, and I'm going to be frank, it was just a bunch of platitudes, headlines, and bumper stickers. Why?
I disagree with that. Look, you can't keep negotiating with yourself. And that's what we've been doing for the past week and a half. And I think that's all the Speaker's asking for, and our side's asking for, is to come down, sit at the table, and let's talk and work through this, which we've done for over 200 years in this country.
So let me ask you this, Congressman McDermott. We heard 4 times over and over the message, once again, the Democrats simply won't negotiate. Is this now, honestly, has this become a battle for the headlines? Whatever polls better, whatever slug lines poll better? And are you not negotiating?
I learned a long time ago in politics that what people watch most carefully is when you lose. The Speaker and the Tea Party have lost. They said, we are going to stop Obamacare. They have lost. The President has remained resolute through every effort they've made. And so now they're flopping around like dead fish in the bottom of the boat trying to figure out what to do next. They have no plan B. The floor and say to his Tea Party friends, I'm leaving you behind. I'm going with the Democrats, me and 25 Republicans. And all the Democrats are going to pass a continuing resolution and a debt limit increase, and that's going to do it. But he hasn't been willing to come out and admit that he's lost. It's just a matter of time. He'll come.
Can I just ask you, sir? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'd like to say scenario just make McDermott hold his breath, because that's not going to happen. And I can tell you who loses with this. The American people lose with the Affordable Care Act. And if we had an hour to discuss it, I would love to do that, because that's the loser, not us. It's not a game up here. It's like the Speaker said, this is not a game.
Speaking of the fact that it's not a game, sir, Congressman Rowe said something in an interview on NPR. I want to read the statement that you made to the interviewer regarding what's going on right now. You said you have to have some way to negotiate an issue that the other side won't negotiate with. And running the federal government is one of them. The debt ceiling is another. This is nothing unusual. It's American politics. It's the way it works. Congressman Rowe, please don't tell me that you truly believe that holding the debt ceiling and holding the continuing resolution is truly just business as usual.
It's been usual like that for a long time. That's what we did in 2011 with the Budget Control Act. We passed it in a bipartisan way.
We didn't have a government shutdown haven't had a government shutdown in 17 years. And prior to that, in the Reagan years, there were 6 of them. They were about a half to 3 days apiece. But tell me, do you really believe that this is right? This is honestly a way to govern? That it's fair? That this is good politics to hold the faith and credit of the United States and actually the running of the government and people's jobs? Chip?
As clearly as I can, as the Speaker did this morning in the press conference, he did in our conference. We are not going to default on the debt. If that happens, there is enough money in the budget to pay for that. That will be the President of the United States' decision, not the Republicans or the Democrats in the Congress. The President will make plenty of money to pay that, so there will be no default on the U.S. debt.
All right, let me ask you this, Congressman McDermott. I'm going to switch hats completely, and I'm going to take you to task for something that you said, and it has to do with something I find near and dear. It's the Constitution. I have a copy of it on my desk. I refer to it early and often every day. When the shutdown began, you issued this statement. For a party claims to love the Constitution, Republicans have no problem throwing it out when it doesn't suit them. This is not how bills are passed or repealed, restarting the government. Or rather, the GOP leadership and its rabid fringe ought to be ashamed of this failure of governance. So, first of all, it is not unconstitutional what your colleague beside you is doing. It is not against the law. The law actually does allow for it. Is it fair to just throw that out there, that the Republicans are somehow misusing the Constitution? And also, is it appropriate or moral to sort of refer to people as rabid or far wing?
The Republicans have thrown away the regular order. The regular order established by the Constitution was a set of committees who passed bills back and forth to each House, and then they resolved the differences in a conference committee. The House passed the budget, or the Senate passed the budget, excuse me, and it's been laying in the House for 6 months. Now, every time the Speaker comes out and says that the Senate won't negotiate, he is not telling the truth. I'm going to be very careful how I say that. He's not telling the truth. He refuses to appoint conferees to go down with the Senate. He hasn't done it for 6 months, and now he says, with his back up against the wall, lost on this care ploy, he now says, oh, I'm ready to negotiate. I'll send over. Well, where has he been for the last 6 months? The Constitution lays out how the majority rules in this country. And the electorate chooses us, and then the Congress operates in a very, very prescribed way. And he simply refused to appoint six members to go over and negotiate with the Senate. You cannot say you want to negotiate.
If hundreds of you on Capitol Hill can't come to any semblance of consensus, I'm certainly not going to achieve that here in this interview. But I do thank you both for your perspective. And can I just say, for those people during the commercial break who were not privy to the cameras, you two were very friendly. You look very lunch after this interview. I certainly hope that is the case. Shake. Go ahead, shake on camera. So at least feel good going into the weekend. Shake hands. At least make up on camera. There you go. Please. Yahtzee. Phil Rowe, Jim McDermott, thank you both. And good luck to you.